Oh, this is Adrian Fudge.
Okay, Adrian, am I on? I'm trying to connect to the webinar.
I don't see anything. Like it just shows the meeting topic and Esther's name and the invitation.
Are you trying to join it also?
I am.
Huh. This is my first time doing this. So maybe we need to, no? Huh.
Maybe they're not on yet.
It starts at 6. Oh, maybe they're not on yet. Okay, it's still early. Oh,
Well, I'm on.
I'm on too. I would think there'd be more people, but okay, maybe they haven't started yet.
Hi, this is Tatiera from Rising Tide.
There you go.
All right, Dee. I'll see you later.
All right, bye-bye.
Hi, this is Lori McCullum.
Hi. I figure I would give everyone till 6. We're a little early, 6:05. If everyone could just mute themselves, so that way we won't have to worry about anyone's background noise once we get started, and then there'll be opportunities for people to ask questions in between. Just don't want to have a lot of background noise for everyone still has to live their lives, right? So stuff will be happening in the background, I'm sure. And I just shared my screen with everyone. So once we get started, I will pull up the PowerPoint full size and we'll get the conversation started. Hi, for those of you that are just joining. I see a few people chimed in. I'm going to give people a few more minutes because we're right at 6, and then I'll get the ball rolling in about 2 more minutes. Awesome. So thank you all. First, thank you all for joining us today for this webinar on the power of social. It's an introduction to social media marketing. So we're just going to kind of dive right in and to kind of go over some of the basics when it comes to social media and how you all can leverage it for your businesses. So my name is Tatiera Spurlock. I'm one of the communications and marketing coordinators here at Rising Tide Capital. My main focus is around social media and graphic design. So I produce a lot of our collateral and manage our platforms, mainly the Rising Tide Capital's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I don't know what this little red mark, I don't know if you all are seeing it. I have no idea what that is. It's not on the PowerPoint outside of Zoom, so I'm not sure where that's coming from, so I apologize for that. So a couple things you should know. As you entered the Zoom webinar, you were on mute. Like I said in the beginning, I understand that there will be background noise because there may be a little bit on my end. So that's why I had when people join to just be on mute. There will be opportunities for everyone to ask questions. So there's an option on Zoom where you can raise your hand. So if at any given moment you have a question about something I presented, you can just click on that raise your hand button, and when I see it, I'll acknowledge it, and then you can unmute yourself to ask your questions. And there will also be an opportunity for you to ask questions at the end. And lastly, you are being recorded, so I'm recording this entire webinar, and what I'll do after the webinar is send you all this PowerPoint and this presentation, so you'll have it for you to use at a later date if you have if you need it as a resource later on. So I found this quote and I thought it was really helpful to start off this conversation. So social media is here, it's not going anywhere, not a passing fad, and be where your customers are in social media. As we become a more electronic, digitally inclined kind of world, social media is everywhere, and businesses' credibility is often looked at through their social media. People are wondering, where's your Facebook? Why are you not on Instagram? So it's not going anyway. It's only getting bigger. Facebook's getting bigger and creating new algorithms and technology every day. There's new social media platforms every day. So we thought that this would be a good opportunity to kind of dive into that with the Rising Tide entrepreneurs and just kind of get that ball rolling. Like I said, this is really an introductory conversation, just to kind of get us thinking about some of these things. And then as we, learn and grow together, we'll be providing more information as we learn it. So in today's webinar, I'll be covering about 4 things. So there's the big 3, which are the main social media platforms, which are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I will also talk about what it means to craft your custom audience when it comes to targeting your customers on your social media. And then I have achieving and tracking your goals. So once you decide what your goals are, how do you reach them, and also how to quantitatively, how to make sure you're doing what you want to do. And at the end, I will do an example of what doing some social media marketing will look like for you. So why social media marketing? So social media marketing refers to the process of gaining traffic or attention through social media sites. And taking out all that jargon, all that really means is social media allows you to target the right people at the right time. We're in a space now where you can reach so many people with just a push of a button, and that's awesome for small businesses because you can't be everywhere all the time, and your social media allows you to do that in a sense. So we want to make sure you're leveraging it and using your social media impactfully and getting the most bang for it, the time that you put into it. So the big 3. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Most people, I would hope, are aware of what they are, especially Facebook, because Facebook is the reigning king. It's the champion that when it comes to anyone in their businesses, I would definitely advise them to have one, mainly because it's the best way to reach your audiences. So they're the most sophisticated when it comes to the ads that they're producing, the way that they're tracking metrics, and your ability to really reach who you want to reach. So starting there with them. And they also have the most sophisticated ad platform, and we'll dive into that a little bit. And then we have Instagram, the visual beauty. So Instagram's all about photography. So it's the best way to give people a visual representation of your work and what you're doing. It's linked to Facebook, so it's really easy to kind of dive into their marketing because you're able to track it and build it out through Facebook. It's great for product ads. If you have a product, it's again visually appealing, and they've recently started doing some separate ad placement where you can even start including like learn more and shop now buttons on your Instagram. So that's been really helpful. It's a good place to show like the showcase the culture of your business. You know who you are as an entrepreneur, what your business represents. It's a good place to do that, and it's a great contest platform if you're interested in engaging your customers and your community in a different ways. A contest on the Instagram platform would be awesome. And then lastly, I wanted to bring up Twitter, the conversationalist. So the big thing about Twitter, which I don't think we talk about enough often when we talk about social media, is it's not for everyone. Every time a social media platform, a new one comes out, does not mean that you necessarily need to start trying to use it. Take it a step at a time, master one of them, and keep the momentum up and keep growing from there. I say Twitter isn't for everyone because it requires a lot of content, tweeting all the time to really get the best out of it. And it's not always easy, especially as a small business owner, to make the time to have those and build those like organic audiences and conversations. So I wouldn't always suggest that someone just dive right into Twitter just because it's one of the big three. But it's a good place to drive traffic to like websites and if you like Etsy pages and things like that with the link living in the bio, which also is something that happens on Instagram. And it's also a good place to create lists. Twitter is a good place to start kind of monitoring, if you have influencers you're interested in introducing your product to, or if you're ready to move toward maybe getting press for your business or your product or your service. Twitter is a good place to kind of start monitoring some of that behavior to move forward to grow your business. So diving right in, custom audiences. So Facebook gives you the opportunity to create custom audiences for your business pages. And what that means is you'll have the opportunity to target people who are following you, people who are interested in your subject matter, people who are interested in similar products or services that you offer. Target them so that their eyes get to your business and your product and your service. And it can go even deeper than that. If you know that there's a professional group you're interested in targeting or a certain demographic, all of that can go into your custom audience. And that's awesome because you can spend less dollars to get more reach when it comes to advertising. Small businesses don't often have budgets to do print ads or, even as far and dramatic as like billboards. You don't need to have all those things anymore with the ability to build these type of things out in social media. You can put dollars behind ads and creating custom audiences so that you can reach thousands of people. And that's one of the real beauties of being able to do social media marketing because you know what your dollars are going towards. So if you decide you want to put $20 behind an ad, you can say that I want to target people who like other pages that deal with maybe like a food product. They like pies or they like fruit or they like a certain type of lip balm or things like that. Like you have the ability to really drill it down into that niche. And so when it tells you that 1,500 people saw your ad, 25 people clicked on your website, you know what your dollars are going towards. And I think that's something really important to point out when it comes to social media marketing and being an entrepreneur, especially if you're still kind of building, because every dollar counts. And social media allows you to really see what the value that's going into that marketing. So yes, so using your own data. So another good part about when it comes to building these custom audiences, it allows you to do a few things. One of them is re-engaging your supporters. So a lot of entrepreneurs, you all probably have email lists or you're taking information from people when they purchase your products or services, and making these custom audiences allows you to repurpose that information. You can create ads for one that'll get people re-engaged with you. You can take a list of people who say, for example, participated in some service that you offer. You can take that list and create an ad that says, hey, we enjoyed working with you, come back and see us again, and have them re-engage on your website. Or you can talk about if you have a first step in your program and there's a second step to follow, you can target those people that did that first step, and they can come back and see that ad, and it'll say, hey, now it's time for step 2. Like, you can really start to get into the nitty gritty when it comes to doing these custom audiences and reaching those people. You also have the opportunity to do lookalike audiences. So if you built an email list, if you have an extensive email list right now, for example, for your business, you can input that into Facebook and create an audience of people who are very similar to those people. So they already have an interest in something that you do, like the product that you sell, the service that you offer, and they'll get served your ads. And then that could also lead to more traction on your social media pages, your website, more subscribers to your email. So you really just taking the information that you've already collected and using it, and it just continues to be valuable to you. So yeah, so now we're going to get into what it actually looks like to achieve these goals, and also what it means to track these goals. So I put together some ideas that I thought would be some first steps when it comes to creating content for your social media platforms. So we're heading into SSC season, so the Start Something Challenge, and as most of you may know, or you may not know, you're not allowed to purchase ads that specifically sell the SSC during the competition. So you couldn't create an ad that says vote for me and then boost it. That will get you disqualified from the competition. And we thought about that a lot, and the reason we do that is because we want to make it as an even playing field. Everyone won't be able to put the same amount of dollars behind ads, so we just decided to eliminate that. But understanding that social media marketing is a reality today, we wanted to give people the opportunity now to start thinking about little things that they can do to help build up their platforms. So when it comes time for the competition, they have, audiences that they're comfortable with, and they also know how to kind of generate the content needed to build these platforms. So I came up with a few ideas to kind of start everyone out. So one of them is A/B testing. As you're figuring out the kind of content that works well for your audience, right now is a good time to figure out what kind of calls to action work best for you. Would it work best for you to tell someone to learn now and learn more about your product versus telling them to go directly and shop? If you're a fairly new entrepreneur and you don't have a large audience yet, it may not be the best idea to start out with telling people to just go buy your product. They may need to learn more about you, what you offer, and your brand as a whole. So testing out those different calls to action right now with A/B testing. So that would be putting out 2 different ads and watching them to see how they do. And then once the ads conclude, whichever one does best, you kind of know where you need to start. So I would say that would be a suggestion of something to start with right now as you're figuring out your social media marketing. The second one is boosting your top performing content. So there's a difference between boosting something on your page and creating an ad. So if you put out photos of a product or service, or if you write blogs about your product or services and they do well organically, it may be worth putting a few dollars behind it to get it boosted up and reaching more people, maybe a wider demographic. Or something like that. So that way more eyes are on it. And again, that's bringing people back to your pages. And this is something important to think about doing right now over the next few weeks before the SSC opens publicly on June 12th, because it's all about voting, as some of you may know, and you want to have eyes already on your page. You don't want to wait until the competition opens to start trying to generate people to your page. Right now is a good time to start building those social media audiences. The third thing I have is back up your email blast. So I mean that in 2 different ways. So the first one would be to, if you're already doing email blasts to a list of people, taking that same content and using it on your social platforms. So that way, those same people are seeing that content over and over again. We're living in this world, and repetition is important. People need to see things 5 to 7 times before they even think to engage. So you want to make sure that you're consistently putting out content, and you can back up some of this social content or back up your email blast by having those two support each other. Another way to look at that, if you're just now starting to think about email marketing as a part of your strategy in business in general, and then even more niche in the SSC, right now would be a good time to start building those email lists. So you could even think about what it will look like to do a campaign around getting subscribers to your email list. So that way, when it's time to start promoting new products or things like the SSC, you already have a list that's started, and you've already started curating those customers. So that's something to think about. Then there's also retargeting past customers. Back to what I mentioned earlier about creating those custom audiences. If you have customers that you haven't seen in a while, using social media marketing is a good way to re-engage them, because it allows you to take those lists of people. All you need is a phone number or an email address, put it into your system, and you can serve them with very custom ads. If you've ever been to a website and left something in a cart, or if you've ever done some type of program and then you notice on the side of your Facebook you get served with ads that say like, "Hey, we miss you," or you left something in your cart, and you're almost, it's kind of eerie a little how easily they can find you, or you're like, "Oh, how did Facebook know that?" That's all within that social media advertising, all in those algorithms. So if you want to re-engage some people, this is again a good time to do that. It's also a good way to identify new customers. So going back to um, those lookalike audiences, you can create those and get people who are interested in your products and services in like a wider scheme of thing, and get them interested in your brand. And you can even um, you can either target people who just like general subjects. So if you work in fitness, you just say, I want to target people who like fitness. If you are a food entrepreneur and you sell cookies or sweets, and then you target someone that's like, oh, they show an interest in desserts. These are all things that you can get into to start identifying potential new customers. So then tracking. So I pulled up two things that I want to show you all. So one is tracking your insights. And again, Facebook is king. They have the best tracking when it comes to social media. So you can look at the reach, which it gives you a description for each one. So if you're just kind of learning what some of this stuff means, it's okay, because Facebook has kind of given you definitions of what these things mean, so you know what you're looking at. So you can see how many people you're reaching. You can see how many people are engaging with your post. That's the likes, the comments, the other reactions. Seeing how many people are viewing your profile, seeing how many people are liking your pages. So that way you see what content is doing best. You can see, when it comes to promoting content, you can see your recent promotions, and you can see your top 5 most recent posts and how they're doing. And then there's also an even broader concept when it comes to Google Analytics. You can see how your social media is, if you have a website, how it's helping drive traffic to your website. See how many people are who's actually visiting your website. You can see how many new people, so new customers, new potential customers are visiting your website. You can see how many people are leaving your website with the bounce rate. I wanted to show you both of these because I wanted to talk about meaning making for a second. And so you will see all these numbers and you're trying to figure out like exactly what that means, and it'll help you figure out what content works best for you and your business. So right now you may be posting a lot about your products, and you might be in a stage in your business where you are your brand. People want to hear more about your story and how you even started this business, and that might be the type of content that you need to either put out or figure out how you make a shift, how you make a strategic shift from it being about you and being more about the product. Or if you want it to be more about you versus the product, but people are more receptive to the product things, how you make the shift. So all of this is just like strategic thinking, and that's what the analytics can help you figure out. So that way, if you're wondering why it's not leading to sales, and you notice, okay, well, people aren't really engaging with my what I'm putting out there. What do I need to change? That's why tracking is so important. I think when it comes to all of this, it helps you kind of figure out what works, what doesn't work, and where you need to make the pivots. And it also, when it comes to the Google Analytics side of things, if you have your website already, social media, when it comes to social media for your business, it should be a larger goal to have it driving traffic to somewhere else. If you're selling products on your website, or if people can reserve appointments or things like that on your website, your social media should be assisting with making that happen. And these analytics will help you figure out what's working and what's not working. So it's not just it's bigger than, oh, my engagement's up 50% this week. It's like, oh, I have 20% of those are new users. I need to get them on my email list. And it becomes kind of like this journey. You really, the social media could be the start of a journey for a new customer, or it can be supporting the journey. But all of it is about the experience that you're creating for your customers. And so that's why email marketing, website, social media, all those things need to be cohesive to make sure that the experience is the same across the board. So last thoughts before we get into how to do some of these things. No matter which platform, you can do quite a few things. You can increase visibility for your product or service, target new customers, recruit job candidates, boost event registration, increase visits to your website, and sign up people for your newsletter. And the list goes on because I talked about a few other things throughout the presentation. And mobile friendly call to actions. So what I mean about that is we spend majority of time looking at social media on our phones. So you want to make sure whatever you need your customers to do, that subscribe button, that registration button, that buy button is easily accessible for your customers to view it on their phone, because it's less likely once they get to a desktop that they will go back and continue the action. So I just want to make sure I pointed that out throughout this presentation. But basically, like, no matter which one you choose, you decide Facebook, Twitter, Instagram is the best, there are a few things that across the board you should be able to do. But like I said, Facebook is reigning king. I didn't make that up by myself. There's lots of data to back that up. So if your first or the most impactful social media tool you using is Facebook, you are headed in the right direction. So thank you for just listening to that spiel, and now I'm going to go into how to create social ads. So I'm using some other social media platforms that I'm aware of to kind of start you all out. So first, I wanted to show you what it means to boost a post versus doing an ad. So the main difference in boosting a post versus doing an ad is the amount of information that you can put behind it. So once you've started your business page, if you don't already have one, or if you have one, this is what it'll look like. It'll show you messages that go directly to your business page, notifications, insights for those of you who may not have one yet. And then for those of you all who are familiar with this already, just bear with me. So one of the biggest things is advertising your business. So you go to where you would usually typically write like a post or share a photo, you advertise your business. And so one thing that I would start out with when it came to social media is promoting your page, especially as we again mentioned the SSC. Once we get into SSC season, you cannot, I just want to make sure I emphasize this, you cannot create Facebook posts, Twitter posts, any social media posts to advertise you in the contest. So I would highly recommend everyone right now to start building out their audiences by doing things like this. So promoting your page. So this is a boosted post where you can choose people by their interest, their demographic and such. So this is a natural hair care line. So you'll see that additional interest of people who they will want to promote the page to are natural products, natural skincare, natural baby products, hair care, things like that. And this is in London, England. So they have 25-mile radius of that area. And then they would create the budget. Depending on the amount of days, from 7 to 28, the amount of time that you want to put behind the ad is how much the budget will be. It can be as little as $5 a day. People go up to spend hundreds of dollars on ads. So, and once you set it up, it tells you like your estimated reach. $5 could get you thousands of people to your page. So you would just really have to figure out what will work best for you. So this would be a boosted post. And so an ad is a little more in depth. So you have this, you have an ad manager. Anyone who has a Facebook business page has an ad manager. So the ad manager is where you can get even more detailed into your audience. So we talked about custom audiences and lookalike audiences earlier, and so this is rising tides. So we have lists for SSC, we have lists for people who like the Rising Tide page, friends of people who like the Rising Tide page. So you can just really start digging deep into people's profiles. And you have your locations, you have your age, you have your gender, language, detailed targeting. So that's where, with the previous page, we talked about natural hair care products and things like that. So this is Rising Tides. So we would put in words like you see here: entrepreneurship, business person, owner, CEO, startup company, things like that. So those are the people we're trying to attract to find out about our programs or that are interested in the things that we're doing. So the big difference between boosting a post and doing an ad is this step, the connection. So you can target people who like your page, who's friends of people who like your page, or you can exclude people who like your page, because sometimes people, if they're already engaging with you, you don't want to like annoy them or irritate them by serving them up ads. So you might exclude them from certain posts that you're doing. Like if you're doing maybe it's like a voting type thing, you're boosted a post, but the majority of the people who like your page have already done this, and you don't want to keep serving them up with the same information. You would exclude them from this process. If you have an app, or if you have people who responded to events that you do, like if you have people already RSVP, you would exclude the people who already responded to the event, because you don't want to keep serving them with an ad that says RSVP for this event and they already did it. So it really allows you to dive even deeper. And then it also goes into all this other stuff around like ad scheduling, and then when you want to be charged, if you want to be in charge for every click or every impression, it'll do it like that. And then you can create the ads based off kind of like goals or an objective. So they have brand awareness and reach, consideration. So you want to drive traffic to a website, and then you have conversions, which leads to store visits or sales on your website. Again, going back to that original thing around the SSC, right now is a good time if you need to build up your brand awareness to kind of not even just get ready for the SSC. If you're new products, new services, or you realize that not enough people know about the work that you're doing, brand awareness is where you should start. And this is a good time to kind of start doing that. So these are the two platforms that you can use when it comes to doing social media marketing from Facebook. So you have the boosted post, which takes the content that you've created already, so boost post, and then you have the ad manager, which is more in depth. And when it comes to ads versus boosted posts, advertisements are served up on the sides of your timeline on social media, or in your timeline, and then like with Instagram, if you scroll, an ad will pop up in between the people that you follow. And whereas the boosted posts, people who are already following you, they get it served up faster. People who already had an interest, it'll pop up as a sponsored post. So those are just some some differences there. And so that is pretty much it as far as the content I wanted to cover today, the basics. Um, and if there are any questions, I'm here to answer them. Again, I will be sending out the PowerPoint, and then my contact information is here. If you have any additional questions or you wanted to dive deeper into things like Google Analytics or some other differences in the ads you can create as you start thinking about doing multimedia ads, like doing video versus photos, I'm here to answer those questions for you all. And I will also send you the video. So this conversation that we had here, or this webinar that we had here, I will be sending out to everyone who joined us. So if there's any questions, feel free to take yourself off mute and ask. Okay. A few more seconds. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope that this information was helpful to you all as you all start thinking about social media marketing and budgeting when it comes to your businesses or where you want to start. Again, I am here to help with anything that you all may need. But if there are no questions, we are finished. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if you could go in a little bit more in depth about the price of like Boost. Like if I were to do a Facebook page and I were to boost my ad. Okay, so you have to pay an initial fee of like $35, I'm assuming, and then if you get responses, then you have to pay more.
No, it doesn't. Actually, no. So what you have to do when you start your Facebook page and you want to boost a post, there is no like initial fee for your post. What it is you tell them how long you want to run it, and then they'll tell you like what the cost is. So if I want to do a post that does a week, they might tell me, it'll say like my minimum to spend is $7. So I couldn't spend anything less than $7. But there is no like initial fee to do any of the advertising on your page. Nope.
Yeah, but they don't charge you per click. You know what I mean? Like if it
No, they don't. They don't charge you per click. So that's a different thing. That's a different thing. But
I know
once
on
you
blogs
set
and stuff like that. Like I know on blogs and stuff like that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You know how like they have ads on blogs, and if you click on the ad, the blogger gets like 5 cents or whatever.
Yeah, and Facebook, that's not how their function works. So the bloggers make money off you advertising. That's not how Facebook does it. So when you set up the amount that you spend, the 7, the 25 or whatever, they spend it down by the amount of impressions that you get and things like that. And then they'll tell you how the money was spent. They'll tell you how much was a paid advertisement, and how much of the visibility that you got was organic. But it's not like a pay per click like what happens on blogs and things like that. So so you'll pay the initial fee, which the minimum could be as low as $5-7.
Yeah.
And then if you decide that that's what you want to do, then it may only reach, what they tell you is, you'll reach 500 to 900 people. Then if you say, I'll put $15 behind it, then they'll say, you'll potentially reach 15 to 20,000 people.
Okay, so I was also wondering this. When you talk about getting emails to build
Yeah.
up an email list, should I do that before the Facebook page or after the Facebook page? I don't have a do you know what I mean? Like I'm just curious about how you would suggest to go about something like that.
So My personal opinion, I would say create your Facebook page and then send an email telling, if you already have a list, then you tell them to go and follow your page for, additional updates and things like that. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I don't have a list yet. So, I was talking.
Okay.
I was talking about with my my 90-day action plan person.
Mhm.
We were talking about creating a list and like doing like a web page, and you just got not like a web page, but like just like a MailChimp to like garner more customers to my site.
Yeah.
But then you got me thinking, like I don't have you got me thinking like I don't have this list yet. So I was wondering if I should do the Facebook page first, and I already have a Twitter and an Instagram. So I was thinking maybe.
So what you could do, so if you already have a Twitter and Instagram, you do have so you create the email marketing. So you use your platform. You said MailChimp, and so you can get a link to a thing that will get subscriber to your list, and you can take that link and put it into your bio on your Instagram and on your Twitter, and you can tell people like with creating content on those two pages that they should, click on the link in your bio to subscribe to your email list, because all these new updates are coming up soon. I'm going to be launching my website, or if you launch a Facebook page, things like that. So you can still generate a list without necessarily starting the Facebook page now. If you want to start generating a list, you can definitely do that from your Instagram and your Twitter.
That's a really good idea. Thank you.
No problem.
Oh, one more question.
Yeah, no problem.
You know how like you get, I'm a recent graduate, and you know how you get like a little bank to put money towards your business? I was wondering if there was a service that I could use to help me create an ad. Is that one of the services that you provide?
So like if you wanted to create something like graphically to put into your ad?
I wanted to create an ad to do the boost thing that you were talking about, and I was just wondering if you could, if I mean, maybe this is something I should ask the help desk for, but I was wondering if you could help me create an ad like Rising Tide. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but I don't know if anybody else can hear you. Can hear us.
Oh, I don't know. I was talking to I forgot her name.
Tatiara. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to her about related to the topic of social media, and then I just lost her.
I know. I think she said, is there a way to rejoin the audio? But I'm not sure how to do that.
Neither am I. I hit join audio. There's a thing that says computer audio connected, and it says join audio, but I click on it and nothing happens. Who am I talking to?
You're talking to Esther. I also look at RTC. But
Oh, hi. Hi.
Yes. How are you? I'm trying to figure out, I think we still have some participants, but I don't know if they can hear or I don't know. Huh.
I can hear everything. I just, I don't know what happened to Tatiara.
Oh boy. I don't know either. I'm texting her to find out, and I'm so sorry. You can hear my kids crying in the background, so apologies.
Oh, no problem.
I am texting with her. Just give us like 2 more minutes. But so far, I thought you did a great job.
She did. She did a great job. She did a lot of information. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's saying some people are saying they can hear, but she's not sure why. I don't know what happened with Zoom. I'm so sorry. Let me ask if she can hear me. Me? Um,
Well, maybe Esther, maybe you can answer my question because it wasn't really related to. It was more of a help desk question. I don't know if you work with the help desk, but you know how they give us a bank to use. She just got me thinking about doing a boost ad, and I was wondering if I could use the grant that I get for graduating RTC toward creating an ad.
So I think that's a good question. So I think if you wanted to build a list, like a social list, or build some customers on social, you would have to work with somebody on the help desk. I think that's Tatiara. Tatiara, is that you?
Hello.
Yeah, she's back.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay. Awesome. I hung up and redialed in. Sorry about that.
All right.
So, questions.
Did you hear the question?
She was
No.
answering the question.
It was a help desk question. So she was asking, can she use the grant to create an ad? And I was about to say, there's a couple different vendors who do social media strategy on our help desk. And you could probably work with one of them to not just build one ad, but to build out some kind of social strategy, which could include an ad. And your $250 could go towards that. I don't think the grant can be used for spending the money on social, but rather for the
actual ad.
Yeah, the work with to create the ad and to create the strategy for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. And yes, you can if that's the case, you can absolutely work with one of the social vendors on our help desk.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
No worries. Does anybody else have questions for Tatiara? Tatiara,
If not,
I was asking if you.
So I have a question. Yes, I do.
yeah.
Yeah, my question is, of the 3 platforms, I guess would you recommend to start with a Facebook page, or would you think, because I'm more inclined to do blogging, so I'm wondering whether you think that my website should be more of like of a blog page, like using WordPress.
Yeah, so definitely I would say build out your blog and if that's what you want your website to be. The Facebook page would be to support that. So the Facebook could drive traffic to your blog. I would always suggest when it comes to businesses to have a Facebook page. because it allows you to get so much more reach. And like I said, they have the most sophisticated when it comes to using the marketing and everything. So I would definitely suggest building your blog, but I would still say build your Facebook, and your Facebook would support your blog. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think that's, so it sounds like the blogging would be the primary, and that from what you're saying, and then that the Facebook page is really the vehicle to drive more people to the site, because that's what you
Yes.
do ultimately. So that the Facebook page would be sort of the support for everything that I'm doing blogging wise. So, so kind of not to just blog, but to have it to where it's, the Facebook page is the tool to get people to read the blogs.
Exactly. So like you'll be putting out all this great content, and Facebook will be able to drive people to see that great content.
Right.
And it would live on your blog. So definitely, yes. The social media is to support like all your other efforts.
Okay, so let me ask this other follow-up question.
Hmm.
So with the blogging, so would you say then that the call to action should be to do what? Go to the Facebook page, or the Facebook page, the call to action is to go to the blog?
So
So,
the face. Oh, go ahead.
no, I'm so sorry for jumping in.
No,
Can I,
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
can I take a step back and ask you what your business is?
Yes. My business is health coaching. I'm a health coach. So I write articles about health and wellness.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah,
So your
I'm, like I said, I like to put out content around that.
so your blog becomes, all the great articles and content, as you said, about, maybe in-depth pieces about specific things around health and health coaching, right? But your
Yeah.
Facebook page could be a destination for things health related. And what you would have to do for it would be to curate content, not just from you, but from other people that you like and you follow, and then short snippets from yourself that would live on this Facebook page. And then when you do have and you build an audience, you get people kind of interested in you and in the kinds of things that you post. So when you have a new article and you put a little teaser, and if you build a post that has a little teaser about that blog article that clicks through to the blog article, then you have people who are already part of your audience kind of going you to that that piece of content that you just added to your website. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think from what I heard you say is, I like the idea of putting like a little teaser, you're
Yep.
saying, on the Facebook page,
Yep.
and then having, say, the full content or the full article, on my website, my blog site, whatever.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. And then that would be the way to get more people there. Okay. That's good. Hmm.
I think the thing is you want to make sure you curate the content on your page so it's not just only your content.
Oh, okay.
Sarah could talk a little bit more about that because she is the whiz about like what percentage of the content should be like your original content,
Oh, I see.
and what percentage should be just content that you curate for the page that keeps you as a resource and a thought leader without just being all about you all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
I think a big thing about being a thought leader too, from a social media standpoint, is it's not you generating and curating content from other sources that you believe in or that you like, shows that it also creates credibility for what you're saying. So it's like, oh, like you're not the only person who sees this or believes this. You learned from this person, or this person learned from you, and all this other stuff. So now that's just another way to get people engaged. Percentage wise, um, that's a tough question, actually, Esther. Because again, think for me, as when you're establishing your platform, you want to have uh, mm, 70/30. Is that Dake's 100% right? I'm not the best math person.
Yeah.
So like 70% would be like your content that you're generating, especially because you're building out this platform. So you want people to kind of see you as this thought leader. But then the other 30% would be this kind of content that helps bag up like what you're saying, and just pushing your credibility too. And then you would also potentially get those other where you generate that content from. Those audiences could also potentially become your audience. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say. What do you think, Esther?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds
Thanks
about
so
right.
much. Thank you so much, both of you.
No worries. I was
Can
just
I
gonna.
have can I have the link to your blog? Because I'm kind of interested in health and wellness, and I just wanted to know if you just got me interested, and I wanted to know if I could have your web address.
Well, I'm on WordPress right now, so it's just really my name.
That's fine. I think if you have like a website or a blog or social, feel free to put it in the messages so people could like and follow and that kind of
Okay.
thing.
Okay. I just hesitate because honestly, it's not really built up to the point where, I like it a lot. So, I mean, the content I think is good because I always, go for that first. But, just in terms of like the layout, the way it looks, it's not like the most, I guess engaging right now because I'm just starting up.
That's fine. You're
That's
always
okay. You have to start somewhere.
yeah, and having your peers give you feedback that might be helpful, might be
Yeah,
you need to.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, feedback. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess just my name, right? So it's Lauren Pope Forbes is my name.
hmm Just type it in the
The
messages.
group chat, the Zoom
Yeah,
group chat. Yeah.
click on it. Yeah.
Yes.
Tatiara, the question that I was asking about earlier about, and then I have to run about the budget, because I think every small business should have like a small budget for social. Like before you think about going to buy ads in New Jersey Journal, you can
Mhm.
think which are not cheap. You could have like a small marketing budget that could help you to meet your business goals. So, I mean, Tatiara, what are you thinking, like on a monthly basis, somebody could potentially spend and get some bang for their buck on social?
So this is what I said, and then you can tell me that this is wrong, but this is what I said. I said to start out something as small as like $50 could be super impactful on social, because you can spend a minimum of $5 to $7 on ads, and then that $50 can go to multiple ads and boosted posts. So like just to get their feet wet, I started at 50, and to see like how they felt about that and see how they could grow from there when it came to boosted and ads across the platforms. That was where I started. What are you thinking?
I think that sounds great. I think it's a nice, healthy budget, but I also feel like you could do a little less depending on what your goals are. So
Mhm.
I think maybe even I don't know, 30 could take you up, could help you build an audience. And
Mhm.
then of course, as you get a little bigger, you get more money, you see more return on investment. I think 50 is very, very, very healthy if it's doable for everybody. So
Yeah, which I brought up too. I don't know if you were on. Yeah, I brought up that's why when it comes to creating social posts around voting when it comes to the SSC, that's why we don't want people to do that, because we want everyone to have that even playing field. So like now is the best time before the competition starts to kind of play around with social media marketing to build your audience, so that you aren't inclined to do it during the competition when it comes to the SSC.
yeah, makes sense. You have two questions, Tatiara.
Okay.
The first one is how often should we spend the $50? And the second one is what is a lookalike audience?
Okay. So how often should you spend the $50? So if you have so it's based off your budget, right? And so a healthy $50 a month, that would do a whole lot, like a lot for your business. So that doesn't necessarily have to happen all the time. But if you wanted to do some ads every like 6 to 8 weeks, I think that would be nice. And then you also, because you be tracking, which is why tracking becomes important, because you would see if it's worth it. Because if you get a healthy boost and then you start creating organic content and you're happy with how your engagement is going and where you're seeing something, you might not have to do it as often. So it's really up to you, and that's why tracking becomes so important when it comes to figuring out your budgeting for that. So 6 to 8 weeks, I would say. And then there's also this whole thing around um, what you're creating the ads for, because we've talked a lot about brand awareness. So if you started out and you did $50 around a brand awareness, so getting people to the page, and then each month you may only spend, you know, $7 to $10 to do some very targeted things around the content that you're pushing out. So if you sell a product or a service and you have a sale going on, or you have a piece of content that you really want to get a lot of reach around, so you put $7 behind that. That's something to build in there too, where so that month you might not spend that much money. So having a plan for your marketing and having like this budget in place does become important, because if you say each month I'll put aside $50, that doesn't mean that you're going to spend $50 each month, you know? So that becomes increasingly important, because you won't necessarily need to do like a brand awareness ad for $50 each month. I hope that helped answer that question. And then for what's a lookalike audience? So let me go back. So a lookalike audience is when you take a list that you have, and you input that list into Facebook, and it creates an audience that has similar interests as the list that you created. So if you have an email list of people who have bought your products or are interested in your products or service, and they've already identified themselves as those people, because that's how you have their email addresses, you take that list and you would input it into create a custom audience, and Facebook will generate a list of people who will be served your ads. Like, you won't get these people's email address or contact information, but your ads will be served up to them. So if you have this list and hello. Oh, if you have this list and you put it in there, and you say you create this ad, they'll get served up the ad about your product or service because they showed some similar interest to the people that are on your list. So it takes the phone number, email information from your lookalike list, finds those people on social media, figures out their interest and the things that they like, and then they find people who have shown similar interest from Facebook, and then those people get served up the ad. So, like, Facebook knows all and sees all, basically. So, yeah, hope that answers that question. If it doesn't, feel free to let me know, and I'll try again. We're coming up on our hour. It's 7 on the dot. So if there's any final questions, I'm happy to stick around and answer them. But again, here's my contact information. Phone number, that's the office line, extension 110. What do you recommend for Instagram? When it comes to what I recommend for Instagram, when it comes to marketing, like advertising dollars. So Facebook and Instagram are connected. So you don't necessarily need to have a separate budget for Instagram, because what you can do is have your ads served up on Instagram, the ones from Facebook. So you don't need a separate budget for that.
So is it the same? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Is it the same ad that you would put on Facebook would pop up on Instagram as well?
Yes.
Okay.
And then so you can still like so if you don't have the Facebook yet, but you have the Instagram, you can promote. Similar, I would still do the same thing that I would do with Facebook, because like once you connect the Facebook and the Instagram, it'll track all that information to you. So I would still say about the same thing. Like $50 is extremely healthy. Like that would get you far. So and like Esther said, starting out even lower if you need to is you would still get a bang for your buck. So if you wanted to just start out with some awareness ads with on Instagram, and so if they wouldn't be connected to a Facebook just yet, I would bring it down from 50 to about 25. So like cut it in half. Can you market on IG with paid ads without Facebook? Yes. Yes, you can. The only thing is that you just won't be able to track them as well. So Facebook, Instagram's analytics, they're okay, but they're so broad. It's really hard to get into the numbers without having to do a lot of math. And I'm not a math person, so that's one of my issues because it counts each post. Um, so you would have to go back and add all of them, and it's not as easy to. And that's your like your boosted post and the content that lives on your page. You won't be able to do ads the same way that you're able to do them on Facebook. So the ads that you create on Facebook can get served up into someone's feed. And then on Instagram, you would have to take one of the posts that you posted and create the ad. So it's more of a boosted post than an ad like on Facebook. I know that starts to get a little confusing, but so the question is, so can you market on IG with paid ads on Facebook? Yes, but it won't be the same as doing an ad. It'll be more like doing a boosted post. So yeah. So again, thank you all for sticking it out with me. Sorry for those who kind of got when my sound went out. Hope your questions were answered. Feel free to reach out, now, next week, as SSC gets started, whatever you guys need, we're here. Myself, I'm the communications and marketing coordinator. Esther was on the line. She's director of communications for those who didn't know. So we are here to help. And I'm going to close out now. So feel free to contact me. And thank you all again for sticking it out. And I really hope that this was helpful because it was created for you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It was very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, it was. It was very
Thank
helpful.
you.
Okay. He already ate.